And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou.
Welcome to Open Connection. I'm your host, Robert Pictou. Our show today comes to you from the traditional and unceded territory of the Sipshan people. An entrepreneur is an individual who creates a new business, bearing most of the risks and enjoying most of the rewards. The entrepreneur is commonly seen as an innovator, a source of new ideas, goods, services, and business or procedures. On today's Open Connection, we open our archives to bring you this story from 1992.
The Tribal Resources Investment Corporation opened its doors in Prince Rupert in 1987 as an institution to enhance native business in the Northwest. Since that time, Tricor has grown, now enjoying the best of times, expanding to a terrace office and opening its doors to native business people across the entire Northwest. Tricor is a lending institution that was formed by the Haida, Nisga'a, and Tsimshian tribal councils, and the reasons why the formation occurred heavily outweigh what the corporation actually does.
We talked to a few native leaders in the area here about what was happening with business development in the area as far as native people, and at the time there were very few native people that were involved with business development, and we looked at the federal government's program and felt that the best way that we could take advantage of this is come together as one group for the purpose of developing an economic base and a financial institution that could assist our people into taking advantage of what's happening in the area. We felt that we needed a boost, and we felt that the only way that we could do this was that we had to develop some kind of an institution that would provide loans to native people.
A few years ago, there was no potential. I mean, while there's a lot of native people in business, however, the problem of getting financing from commercial lenders in Prince Rupert Terrace was a big problem, because native people always had problems with assets on reserve that you couldn't take security over those assets. So Tricor filled that void, where they provide debt financing, loans to native individuals, all in the Northwest. And Nisga'a Management, by providing business planning services, also helps establish those business opportunities in the North also, so they can get loan financing.
Repayable loans are the way most Canadians gain initial capital for business investment. This is also the preference of Northwest native business people we spoke to. Federal and provincial grants have been available, and to this day exist. But the negative points seem to outdistance the positives. Federal bureaucracies and red tape, along with internal problems, make a loan program such as Tricor's much more palatable.
Through the Indian Affairs Indian Act, there is a section within the Indian Act which does not allow normal financial institutions to go in and repossess on anything that is fixed to the reserves. And there's a lot of the banking industry stays away from that particular type of loans on reserve for business aspect. They do loan us money for vehicles and stuff like that, things that can be removed, but the barrier that Tricor and the niche that Tricor is working is to fill that gap.
A lot of those granting agencies, they're controlled by people that don't know us. People that are based in Vancouver or in Winnipeg or in Ottawa. Okay, and they don't have a clue of what kind of economy we face, what kind of skills we have, what kind of people we are. Okay, and Tricor gives us that opportunity where we have people who know who we are and what our opportunities are and what our capabilities are. That's a big difference. Okay, and it's not just money. It's a whole quality in that relationship.
Once again, it is the Nisga'a, Haida and Tsimshian people that pioneered the Tri-Corps program and today remain part of the advisory board. They are also the chief users and thus appreciate the business potential that exists.
It's a good thing, and that it's going to be hopefully an ongoing thing because it's there to help our people, and we haven't had too much help in this manner before. Is that we're always accused of having outright grants, which is not true, because our people are, to me, is that we're tax-paying people the same as anybody else, and that this Tri-Corps, which has been set up to help our people along, is something that we've looked forward to for a long time.
Open Connection will be right back after these messages. And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou.
Thank you for staying with us. The World Bank organization describes poverty in this way. Poverty has many faces, changing from place to place and across time, and has been described in many ways. Most often, poverty is a situation people want to escape. So poverty is a call to action for poor and the wealthy alike, to call to change the world. Let us return the archives as Harold Layton shares how Tri-Corp is helping communities.
Our involvement with Tri-Corps, the Metlakatla Kitkatla Development Corporation, we're part of the Tsimshians, which makes up quite a fair percentage of the Tri-Corps area, and the development in our area has been fairly slow. Whenever we have any investment opportunities going to the banks, they've been really hesitant about helping us out. But since Tri-Corps has given us a lot more to work with, we've really started developing in tourism and fisheries and other areas.
With Tri-Corps, at least, we understand them as a business group that are going to demand security, demand certain conditions before we can secure a loan. But at least they understand who we are, what opportunities we're facing, what we're capable of doing. So it provides that other approach or that other opportunity that we haven't had. Normally, up until Tri-Corps started, our only other source of financing was grant financing. And grant financing has another problem associated with it, where people learn how to play that system. They learn how to get handouts.
They become abusive of the system.
Yeah, they become abusive of it, and they become very dependent. And most of the things, the Nushka people, as you mentioned, have been aggressive people in a lot of ways, but aggressive in a progressive way, not in a negative or a militant type of way. It's just basically saying that this is what we want and this is how we're going to get it. And we decide, we want, opportunities, to get into the local economy, to gain control of some of the resources, get our share of the economy, and we want to manage, produce, create jobs for our own people. And that's part of what Tri-Corps offers, that opportunity.
Further evidence of the success achieved by the Tribal Resources Investment Corporation comes from active Native businessmen that have seen their operation benefit from Tri-Corps' concepts.
Well, as a management consultant, I assist people in starting their own businesses. Tri-Corps, indeed, as a Native funding organization, greatly assists businesses in getting started, getting on their feet. Generally, Tri-Corps is tied with the federal business arm, the Canadian Aboriginal Economic Development Strategy, or CADES, in getting businesses started. But as any business trying to get started, you have to go through fairly comprehensive planning with respect to business plans. And Tri-Corps is set up and have the staff available to go through and ensure that businesses that do get started, make application, indeed have the management expertise, or will assist in acquiring training dollars through other funding agencies and other government agencies to ensure that the management is there so that the businesses are a success.
The final measure of success in the business world remains the growth pattern of any operation. Tricor, with its recent expansion to Terrace, is seeing that growth come about. The 3 initial tribal councils have shown the corporation's capabilities, and now other native bands are becoming involved.
Well, since the Gitxsan-Wet'suwet'en Economic Development Commission has, and their tribal group has become a shareholder of Tricor, our growth is, and opening up an office is to provide a much needed service for the Aboriginal people in northwestern British Columbia. More recently, the Tahltan Nation has approached Tricor and has received permission to access funds from Tricor's loan portfolio. So there is a tremendous growth pattern, and more Aboriginal business, more and more Aboriginal people getting into business.
We're just barely scratching the surface of what we're dealing with now. You know, like the past 2 years, we've lent out just over $3 million, and we're just barely scratching the surface. We have on a table, you know, without even advertising or, you know, going on a large campaign, we have about $15 million on the table right now of people that want to start small businesses, and people who want to get into joint ventures with larger organizations, and it's you know, the response to what we have established with Tricor, you know, as a lending institution, is far more. It's far beyond what we expected.
Our success is due. We understand the philosophy of band councils, tribal councils, and where we don't understand, we try to work with the people as well as individuals from the native sector, and diplomatically we will work out things rather than just say you're not allowed to get a loan through us, but we will also provide advisory services as well. And it's all geared to developing the economy and the opportunities that are there for Native people.
Open Connection will be right back after these messages. And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou.
Welcome back to Open Connection. Students who attend alternative education programs are often the most vulnerable population in the school system. Alternative education programs focus on the educational, social, and emotional issues for students whose needs are not being met in the traditional school system. Let us return to the archives to see how Kitimat is helping the most vulnerable.
The program offered at Kitimat City High, or KCH as it's known, is for students who, for a variety of reasons, can't cope with the regular high school with its 1,100 students. Back in the 50s, the old building used to be the RCMP barracks, and the small rooms have provided a lot of challenges for teachers over the years. Visitors to the school, however, comment on the warm and friendly atmosphere that seems to prevail. Maybe it was the untidiness due to the lack of storage, the beat-up furniture, but mostly it's the caring shown by both the teaching and non-teaching staff.
Well, there is, and we work on that. It's very important. A lot of our students just haven't had a lot in their lives. They've had lots of problems. So we really work hard to create that atmosphere. And doing things like having a foods program, we all sit down for lunch, and you know, there are things that we do, and everybody's involved. So we try to create that atmosphere for sure.
Some people, like the well-loved foods instructor and cook, have spent years in the old school. Did you ever think you were going to be in this kitchen for 14 years?
No, I didn't.
And what are you looking forward to most at the new facility?
Oh, everything's brand new. It's so nice and clean, and it's really nice.
A few of the youth have been at KCH for up to 4 years, and it's been important in their lives.
Meant a lot, actually. I've met a lot of people. Learned how to take care of myself better. The teachers here, they I don't know, are better than us.
It's because of the individual attention?
Yeah, they look after you more. You can talk to them. It's better.
More like friends?
Yeah, that's basically what they are, just like friends.
The day I was at the old school, a painting class was going on in the dining room. The turpentine smell competing with the great aroma of tacos in the kitchen. The cramped facilities, though, haven't made a difference to the success of the program, at least in the opinion of another student who has spent several years at KCH.
I like this school much better than Mount Elizabeth because it's pure different. Like, you more or less do what you want, and you have your own rooms to work in and that, so it's much better, I think.
Now, down at the new school, you're not going to have your own rooms to work in. There's much bigger areas, so the teachers say they're going to be able to supervise you kids better. How are you looking forward to that?
Not very much, actually, because I guess there's only teachers' rooms now and that, but it'll be okay. It's my last year, so.
Maybe more difficult for some of the ones just starting.
Yeah, only a couple more months and I'm out here.
Any plans?
I'm probably going to go on to college and university when I'm finished.
The school offers individual instruction, and there are non-teaching staff on hand also to help the kids deal with situations that may have nothing to do with school.
If you have a problem at home or something like that, they'll talk to you about it. And if you need help with work, they'll give it to you too.
So does it make a real difference having people who are non-teachers at the school to talk about other areas of your life that are outside your outside school work?
Yeah, because if you don't want to talk to anybody else, you can talk to them.
And there's definitely a rapport between staff and students.
I like the people that work here, and I like the one-on-one communication with the teachers, and I feel it's more easier to get along and communicate with other people at the school.
All work is done on a contract system, the terms of which the youth must fulfill.
Exactly, work at your own pace, and if you feel that you can't complete an assignment, you go talk to your teacher and you can work in an agreement, and you can get an extension or just...
But everything works on the basis of contracts and agreements. You have to complete what you say you're going to do.
And you have a maximum of 3 contracts, and you have 8 demerits a contract, and if you blow that, well, it goes down quick.
During my visit, one student had just completed his graduation requirements in algebra and communications, and he expects to be one of the 20 students who will graduate this year. The new school has science and lab facilities not offered at the old location.
In terms of the courses we're offering, not a great deal, although we'll now be able to do science labs, of course, and we might be able to do a bit more with our computer programs. It will affect the program more in terms of how we deliver it. It'll be possible to work more with groups of students, do more, in a classroom type setting, which we haven't had.
In many ways, Kitimat City High is quite a special school.
Kitimat City High is in some cases unique because we do have a program that follows students through until they're 19 years of age or until they have been in school 5 years, and we graduate them out of Kitimat City High. Usually what they have to do is go on to a college and do some upgrading in order to enter a post-secondary institution. But Kitimat City High gives those students an opportunity to succeed and to proceed on with their education, whereas if they were in the regular school system, they might not have that chance.
The old place accommodated 40 students and about 5 staff. The new is more spacious, but expansion isn't being looked at, yet at least.
At this time, we have no plans to expand the program beyond the 40 students and the waiting list. And on the waiting list, we sometimes have students who are doing work on a home study basis. For this year, no, there are not plans to expand the enrollment. I can't say what will happen in subsequent years.
Improved facilities could also mean differences in programs.
I see the opportunity for teachers, for example, who are teaching the science courses to have lab experiments done and have the students participate in labs rather than reading about them or watching them on a video. And now students will have actual opportunities to have more hands-on work in the classroom. And also in the computer lab, we do have many students who go on from secondary schools into post-secondary jobs. And we recognize that computer literacy is a very important skill that students have when they leave school, and it gives the opportunity for students in Kitimat City High to attain those computer literacy skills before they leave the program.
The move to the new school, which is across the street from the River Lodge Recreation Centre, was completed in a couple of days, and it didn't take the youth long to settle in. There's the bright new kitchen, a large common room which can accommodate everyone for lunch and assemblies, and much more space. The students are handy to River Lodge for both gym and arts programs.
It certainly was nice yesterday with the ceramics program to be able, the students were right there, and if you needed to be in touch with them or convey a message, you could just walk over and talk to them, and it was really handy, really nice.
KCH is the first alternative high school in British Columbia to receive capital funding from the Ministry of Education, a reflection of the success of the program and the district's long-standing commitment to providing a different graduation option for young people.
Open Connection will be right back after these messages. And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou.
Dance is an art form. Choreographers design and direct routines used in dances and performances. They use choreography as an artistic opportunity to express their personality through the creation of dance. In this final segment of Open Connection, we return to the archives with Judith Marcuse.
Not the least of which is enormous self-discipline and a huge amount of passion. Really a terrible need to dance. It's a very, very difficult profession. It's not nearly as glamorous as one might think. It has to be satisfying on a very deep level for people to succeed personally at it. I think the happiest dancers I've met are the people who truly just love to dance and are not interested in stardom or, making a name or, career as such. And they're often the best dancers. The most interesting dancers I find are people who are thoughtful, who have great musicality, who really respond to music and rhythm, and who really have a desire to be generous with the insides, with their feelings, so that it's not a question of sort of performing for an audience, but it's a question of sharing something that they've learned.
An exciting occupation, yes, but a well-paying one, no. Dancers make very little, and sometimes the future may seem uncertain. The Judith Marcuse Dance Company offers its employees 32-week contracts and says it pays its dancers some of the highest salaries in Western Canada. On average, these performers earn a little over $400 a week.
And these are people who've trained for 8-9 years, who've been professionals for 6-7 years, because most of the dancers in our company come to us after they've already had considerable professional experience. Then I guess the median age in the company is around 28.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Open Connection. The greatest distance in the existence of man is not from here to there, but the connection between one's mind and heart. If we can conquer that distance, we can soar like an eagle and realize our immensity within. I'm Robert Pictou.